Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. So we're in Revelstoke right now, and we're going to be turning onto Highway 1 here. This is the Trans-Canada Highway, and we're heading west. We're going to be making a left-hand turn up here, and then head south towards Blanket Creek Provincial Park, which is on highway number 23, and that's the highway that basically follows the Upper Arrow Lakes. I guess it starts up at Mamica Dam, which is at the end of the Columbia River here, we're just crossing right now, and then it turns into Arrow Lakes somewhere around about here, maybe a little bit further downstream, and that goes all the way down to Nakusp, I guess, and you can cross back over there and head towards the Okanagan from that direction. But it's not it's not a highway a lot of people travel on, I guess. Most people just carry on straight through here. So Revelstoke is really popular the last few years for skiing as well as snowmobiling. People come from all over the place to go snowmobiling in this general area. I drove down here in the winter on this highway here a couple years back, and there were just tons of vehicles with trailers pulling, for their snowmobiles, that sort of thing. These big mountain sleds, and they film a lot of the movies, I think, that kind of related to that in this area. You get a lot of snow. So I mentioned this highway starts at a place called Mica Creek, or I guess the Mica Dam, which is just a little further north of there. If you were to drive down it, you also cross another dam that's right before Revelstoke, just to the right of the bridge there, a little ways up. It's called the Revelstoke Dam, and I guess there's a bunch, just a ton of dams and stuff on the Columbia, right down into the U.S., and I think it comes out maybe Portland. So there's a number of them along there as well. So there's a couple of ferries that you can cross over on Arrow Lakes, and they're not operated by BC Ferries, the ones that you typically get on the coast. They're highways, Department of Highways, that operate them, and there's no charge to them. But kind of a different experience. I think the one that's south in Nakusp, I think it's cables, operated by cables. We'll go over that one in a few videos. Head back up that direction. So this is about the middle of September, can see the leaves are starting to change color. And it'll get start getting snow pretty quick, maybe in a month. So if you could see through the trees on the left, that's going to be where Arrow Lakes are. Sorry, the upper Arrow Lakes. And that's yeah, it's kind of where we start climbing, so we have quite a bit of elevation over top of it, and there's some neat views that only just between the trees, once in a while you'll see it, but it's quite flat and really kind of sandy in this area where where it goes from the transitions from the river to the lake. It's really quite wide. I mentioned that I've been on this highway a few times, and it's never been any busier than this. Even in the winter time, when there's a lot of people here for, the winter activities and that, the snowmobiling, there's rarely anybody really on this road. And the ferries run year-round. So you get to the end of this road where it meets the lake, and everybody just lines up to get on the ferry, and it takes quite a few vehicles. I'm not sure how many, but there was I think maybe 3 logging trucks and maybe 20 vehicles when I was on it, and when I was on it last, and I think there was still lots of room. So on this road, it's pretty common to see black bear on here. That's all I've ever seen, but you could see moose and deer and maybe even grizzly bear probably. They'll be in the area as well. But I think I've only ever seen black bear on the side of the road here. So this place that we're going, Blanket Creek Provincial Park, it's quite a nice little provincial park, and it's a lot larger than I thought it would be. But it's about halfway between the ferry, where the ferry is, and Revelstoke. So if you see vehicles going along here, they've either come from there or the ferry, like the RV we just saw, probably just coming from the campground at the provincial park, because typically if you getting off the ferry, there'll be a string of vehicles. So looking out to the left here, you can see the lake and stuff. It's a neat view, quite high up. Actually, going down into this provincial park, when we get there, it's a number of switchbacks, but they make it really quite gradual, so you would have no trouble if you had like a fifth wheel or something like that, or Class A. It's not really steep or anything, but it winds around maybe 4 or 5 switchbacks. So I should mention, my camera hangs off the side of my truck, so it looks like I'm driving over the line a lot of the time. I'm really not. It's just the way that it looks that way, just because of the way the camera films it. So this is the provincial park here. Almost missed the turnoff. Blanket Creek Provincial Park. Quite a nice spot this time of year, because the leaves haven't fallen off the branches yet, so it still looks pretty neat. It's quite a decent temperature. It's not too warm. I think it is about 18-19 degrees Celsius when I filmed this. So a lot of these provincial parks, the prices vary depending on what's available. I think they're just pit toilets here, but there may be running water. I don't know. Best to look it up, do a search yourself to find out what the current prices are. Could be somewhere around 23 bucks or something like that. But yeah, Blanket Creek Provincial Park. If you like this kind of video, think about subscribing. If you give it a like, I'd really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. But other than that, I think we're probably going to end the video up here pretty quick. And I like to do these sorts of videos mainly just really for myself, to see what this place looks like, you know, in a few years' time. If things change, I kind of wish I did this like 10 years ago, because so much has changed over the years. But yeah, anyway, I know there's a few others out there that really like this kind of stuff too. A lot of people aren't able to explore this part of British Columbia. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.